morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good whatever. First of all, thank you for coming, for being here. I didn't introduce myself. One moment. My name is Yolanda Gonzalez, and I am responsible for the commercial department of Virtual Cable. So I was saying that thank you for coming, for being here. You already know, no, that we like to share with you our technical achievements. Of course, I am talking about new integrations, and that is why we are here with you, because these, let's call them additions, we are making to our software are part of your contributions, suggestions, what you have sent us. And for that, we are also very, very grateful. This webinar will show you what we have worked on over the last few months. And let's start. What do you think is on everyone's lips lately? I assure you, two things: security and the cloud. And that's where our department has been focusing on. Both security and cloud infrastructure management are critical for any organization. Say, cyber criminals are becoming, let's say, more sophisticated, and above all, they are targeting the workplace. So we are called upon to protect companies' data and systems. Firstly, in addition to this, and due to the changes introduced in society, I'm talking about reconciliation, remote work, or hybrid work. This leads us to, let's say, to need more advanced security and cloud solutions that adapt to the demands and needs of each organization. The leading role of this day comes later. We will shortly be with Javier Gomez, one of our technicians, who will conduct a demo where he will show us all around the new functionalities introduced. No? Therefore, I'm only going, I promise, to summarize some of them. So let's start with among the various of them. Let's start with native two-factor and multi-factor authentication. What else? Then we have integration of third-party MFA solutions, such as, for example, Google's authentication tool, uninnovative zero trust configuration, so that we can enjoy protection without breaches. This is also important. This is support for Huawei Cloud. Know that the UDS Enterprise is the first VDI solution optimized for Huawei Cloud. And we are reaching the end of my talking here. We have collaborated with the AWS and Microsoft Azure teams, and they have certified the seamless interoperability of our new version of UDS Enterprise with these hyperscale platforms for automatic and secure deployment of Windows, Linux, virtual desktops. And then, and last, UDS Enterprise support for the latest version of HP Anywhere, another high performance protocol, in this case, as you know, based on PC over IP technology. So I came this far. After the demo, you will have the opportunity to ask any question, any doubt you have. So you will have time enough to understand all the new functionalities. So now we will move on to the exciting demo you are all waiting for. So Javier, whenever you are ready, please start.
Okay, thank you very much, Yolanda. So hi everyone, my name is Javier. I'm a member of the technical team. And let's see together what has UDS prepared this time. We can show you all the new things and I'll try to explain everything as best as I can. So as you can see here, wait, you can't see right now. I'll share my screen and now I'm sure you can see. Okay, I'm sure you all can see now my screen. We are now in a 3.6 UDS version, okay? And let's start seeing a couple things that we have new. Let's start with the clients, very important. Every client has been, of course, updated for the newest version. Every security patch and everything will be inside them to be as secure as possible. There'll be major changes here. First one, HTTP connections won't be allowed anymore. You know that UDS is always trying to get the best and the most secure connection, so HTTP won't be allowed anymore. You will need to use HTTPS connections. Also, a very big change here is in the log, in the UDS client log. I'm sure some of you will remember this. Here we will have major changes where we can get a lot more information of what's happening with every connection. So in the case that we have any problems and me or even yourselves want to check the UDS client log, you will see that there are a lot of new things, a lot of more information that can help us see what can be happening with a given transport. Of course, remember that the UDS, this 3.6 UDS client can work in the previous versions, 3.5 and 3.0. And here, very important, I'll remember everyone that the 3.0 version is already out of support. So I encourage everyone to at least please update to the 3.5 version. But as now 3.6 is here, you can already go to the 3.6 version and you will see all the new changes. Okay, so clients already finished. Let's go and see the actors. Here in the actors, of course, some changes also security-wise, as always. Everyone has been updated and for the best performance. But we have a new member in the family. As you can see right here, we have a new unmanaged actor. So the new one is going to be here, this one, the RPM one. A lot of users will these days are using CentOS or Fedora for this actor. So we didn't have it for the managed clients. As you remember, managed ones, physical machines that we want to, control the sessions. Here, you can use it and it will go really, really well. Okay, so for the actors, nothing else. All of them has been updated, of course, but for the actors, for now, we can move on. So now I'm going to show you about our components. As you remember, we have here a platform. So you can see right here, we have our 3.6 platform. I'm going to show you minor changes here that we are going to need. So let's check them. At first, let's start with the UDS server and this. I think I can move this. Here it is. Okay, there. So let's talk about the big changes here. We are in the 3.6 UDS server right now. And the first thing that we see, I'm sure you all seen it, is this security code. We'll talk later about the security code, but we are going to need it to do the configuration. And the second most important thing would be the HTTPS. As you can see, the URL, it's not more HTTP. All the connections will have to be done via HTTPS. Okay, so right now, let's connect to that IP. I have it right here. We will have to, of course, accept the certificate. So let's click inside. And this will be better for everyone. We put it in English. So let's go on. And we'll see the new things that we have. Here in the no changes, I'm just going to put the gateway. Okay, in my case, let's leave the IP by default. There's no problem there. Let's click on yes. In this part, there's no changes. And then we're going to come here to the security setup code. So this is very important that you won't be able to continue with the configuration if you don't have that setup code. So really important to everyone always have this, because if not, you will be stuck here and you won't be able to continue. So remember always to have it. If I can put it correct that the first time, it would be great. Okay, as you can see here, it's already letting me go next. If for some reason you're not being let to go next, if because something is wrong with the set of code, you haven't typed it correctly. Okay, here, as I always say, in my case, we are here in Madrid, but of course, always try to put the correct time zone, because when we ask you for logs, for example, or you want to check the logs, if you don't have the correct time, it's going to be a nightmare to try and check the correct configuration. So let's try always to put the best possible one. Okay, and here a couple of things. As you can see, the first thing that we see here is the connection type, the new one. Okay, so we can choose to have a non-TLS or TLS connection. This is, of course, something that in our database you can activate if you want to, but if it's not needed, you can't. You don't need to, but it's an option to have that secure connection. So here, let's see the IP. I do not remember which one it is. This one, copy, paste. Remember here, what's going to happen is that database is going to be configured. Every part of that database will be created and prepared for one we needed. Of course, the activation part here, nothing different. We'll activate our UDS server. And here, the new part. Okay, here in the security part, you can see we have two types of installations. First one will be in the standard one. So I will just be checking here. It will allow HTTP request, but only to be redirected to HTTPS. Okay, remember that. TLS version that will be accepted will be 1.2 and 1.3. Very important, if you don't have this TLS versions, you won't be allowed. And the root user password won't be needed to be very, very complex, okay? Then we have the hardened one, okay? Here, you won't be allowed at any given moment to be use HTTP. So in case that you only have HTTPS and you know you're only gonna have it, you can choose this type. TLS here will only be 1.3, okay? It will be the only one that will be allowed. And for the password, it will be required to have a complex password, as you can see here, 12 characters, one letter, uppercase. So here is, of course, your choice. I'm going to choose the easy one right now. And let's click on next. Okay, certificate part, as before, always, if you need your certificate, you want your certificates, of course, for best security, you can put them right here. And also remember that you can put it inside the appliance with the UDS certificate command. Don't forget. Okay, so UDS server finished. As you can see, nothing very difficult yet. So now let's try the tunneler, okay, that we have some new things also. Let's open here. Okay, same as before, as you remember, your setup code, you're going to need it always. And now let's try to connect to the IP. And of course, as you see, the IP is going to be via HTTPS. So let's see what IP do we have. Here it is, 14.2.5. Okay, same as before, we are going to accept the certificate. And it's going to be better for everyone. And let's put it in English. Here we'll click on next. Okay, here, of course, the gateway. Everything else we can leave it by default. Let's click on yes. We'll change to the new one. And here, of course, we are going to need a setup code that we have right here. B. This is not needed anymore, so we can close it. Where do I have it? Right here. T AR. Here it is. Same as before. Let's put Madrid. Whoops. Madrid in time. And here is going to be the new part and what we're going to need. So as this new UDS 3.6 version is very, very better in security, we are going to need to accept the certificate of the UDS server. Better than accept, we are going to need to trust it. Okay, so for that, we have a new command in the UDS tunnel that we have it right here. Okay, that's going to be yes, trust. Okay, not help. There it is. Okay, so with this UDS trust, what we're going to do is trust that certificate of the UDS server. As you can see, very easy. What we're going to put will be the IP of the server that I don't know right now. Let's see which one it is, 14247. Okay, and the port that we want, in this case, it's going to be 443. Okay, we'll click on next, and a couple important things here. As you can see, it has trusted it. Well, we trust that certificate. One important thing that it's going to do is going to add it into the host file. So if we go inside the host file, I can show you. You can see down there, you have UDS and the IP of the server. This is important because once we have this IP and then a name inside, we can say for sure, okay, this has worked perfectly. Also, at the top, as you can see, you have the certificate name. This is in the case that we're going to use, as you can see, my example, new appliances, we're going everything new. But in the case that you have, for example, wildcard certificate, you can use it also, and the name will be udsenterprise.com, will be the only difference that you can find, okay? So let's check, let's go back here, and very important, and now we can resolve that certificate here. We have to put UDS, okay? Admin. Okay, yeah, and if that passes, it means that everything has gone pretty good. Security, same as before. And we can click on next. And certificates, same as before. If you want to use them, obviously it's recommended. We can click on next. And let's reboot the tunnel. Before we finish here, let's see one more thing of the tunneler. There's going to be one more thing once this rebooted. If we have a new command also, there's going to be the UDS support. What are we going to do with this? Once we type it, what the machine will do will be compile all the files, all the log files that you and me also as an administrator are going to need to check for anything that could be happening in the machine, okay? So very important. Let me try and show you. One second. Okay, so as you can see, we have the only option going to be here is going to be create. I'm going to show you, we'll create the compile file. And as you can see, a lot of things here, but all of them very important so that administrators can see what's happening to the platform. If we have any errors or anything that can be happening to our connections, here in this compile file, you can send us this. We'll ask for it, of course, and we can open it, and we'll see almost everything that can be happening in the platform. To the question of will the passwords be sent here? Of course not. Everything but the password will stay. We will never get to know, of course, what passwords clients have. Okay, so here is going to be all for now. Let's go back here and I start seeing a couple things. As you can see, the dashboard very similar as before. Here, no major changes. Let's start in the service providers. So a couple changes here. Let's start with the first one is that as you guys remember, Before you could, when you were editing a new service provider, you could change the MAC range of the platform, but it has something bad. It was when you save this, you couldn't edit it again. Now you have the option to edit it at any given moment. Okay, so you can change that MAC range, and new machines will be generated inside that MAC range that you want at any given moment. Sometimes it could be very, very helpful. For example, with the HTTP and things like that, where you have specific IP ranges, it can help a lot. What else? What else? In Nutanix, yes, this is important. In the Nutanix provider, we have added, as you can see right here, in the API version. What is this? This will be that in our case, we have a base API. I don't remember exactly the version of it, but the base API that Nutanix uses. Of course, Nutanix will create, not every month, of course, at some time, but it will create new ones. So if you want the latest one that Nutanix has provided, you can change it here. Here also, if you guys have used Nutanix sometime, you will know that the base API is full of things that it can do. Some of the new ones don't have those base things. UDS is intelligent enough to say, okay, if you don't have it in the latest, try and get it in the base one. So you will always have, let's say, all the functionalities that you're going to need, because UDS will try. If it doesn't find it in the base, in the latest one, it will go find it in the base one. So very important here. What else? What else? What else? Okay, there are two things that I have to show you, but I don't have the platform, so we're going to go to the new features tab, and I'll show you a couple things here. In Hyper-V, a lot of clients have asked us to have the possibility to use full clones. Okay, so as you can see here, you have a new check where you can, of course, use that full list of machines, so you can clone it, and your machines will be full clones and ready to go. Okay. Now, here in the OpenGenesis, an important thing, before you didn't have max allowed services, you were able to give the server, okay, I want to use only 10. Now you can tell, okay, this is what I need and nothing more. Also, here, as you can see, start if unavailable. What UDS will do is to power on through OpenGenesis some machines when the user is trying to connect. Something, of course, very, 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 very useful. Everything else, I think I can show you from here. Yes. One very, very, very important part is that as Yolanda has said very well, we are compatible with Huawei Cloud. Okay. Here, as you can see, we can create our machines. Of course, we're going to need some things, regions, the project, and here inside the machines, we'll more or less like every other one, we will give it the volume, the network that we're going to use, flavor, of course, a lot of them. Depending on the zone where you're accessing this Huawei Cloud, you will have or will not have some of them, but there are a lot of options. So I encourage you to try it. It goes really well. And yeah, really, really, really good cloud platform. Let's see what else we are looking here. I think all of this is finished. So let's go to the next part. Authentication. This is going to be an important one, okay? We have, of course, the most important thing, or why all of you most interested, will be the multi-factor authentication. UDS is now natively available to use multi-factor authentication with some options, as you can see right here. I'll show you how some of them work. For example, I'll show you how the email works or the TLTP works. But of course, also you have radius. You can also use it. It goes really well. And for your mobile phone via SMS is something that you can use. And as every day, I think everyone moves with his mobile phone. It will be really, really good. Also, and the authenticators, let's move on to Active Directory. As you can see here, we have the option to use SSL for those connections to the Active Directory, okay? And another important part here is the certificate. Once we verify the SSL, we can tell, okay, You can put here your certificate and we'll validate that it's the same one, of course, so you can have a much more secure connection. Okay. What else? What else? Oh, important one in the transports. In the transports, if I get here, we will have a lot of some of new options. For example, if I can find it, in all of them, we can have the option to have SSL. Okay, for the connections, the same. If you need it for those connections to be more secure, you can have it. Also, in the HTML5 connection protocol, and after that, we will see the new one. We had added a cool thing is that before, when you were connecting to a machine, you needed to have an LA in the machine not habilitated, as if you didn't send valid credentials, that communication will not work. Now, I can show you right now. I think it's this one. Yes, as you can see here right now, if you don't enter a valid username and password, it will ask you for the correct ones. So if you know it, you have a second chance here to enter your correct connections. We don't need this. Let's close it. Next thing. Oh, really important, a new transport. So that you have it right here, HTML5 SSH. Very simple, as you guys know, SSH, you will be able to connect to SSH terminals and see it. Why did we add this? One of the most requests would be you can access the UDS server from inside UDS. I can show you right here. We can go here and we can go here. Okay, as you can see, I remember the password. There it is. So you can see we are inside one of our servers. And from inside UDS, you can already access, for example, you need to see the logs, you need to see any administration part. You can see it from right inside the platform, and it can be really, really useful. Of course, and not only available for UDS, you can connect to any terminal SSH and do the work that you need. So in this case, we can close this. And let's see what else. What else? Here in the transports, I haven't finished yet. What else? What else? Oh, of course, the new PCVIP cloud access is now called HP Anywhere. Of course, we're supported with it. Just tell you that works really, really good. If you need those needs, for heavy graphical demands, you can use it, and you will see how good it goes. Spice can be also used now with Proxmox. As you all know, with Proxmox, you can use directly Spice. So if you had a Proxmox environment, one that I'm one of my favorites, if you know me, one of my favorite environments, you can use it and your connection will go really fast. Okay, what else? What else? Oh, important things. In metapools. Okay, so if you guys remember with metapools, the connection of two pools, so you can give access to a user. For example, let's say you have something in the cloud or something on premise, you can get together those pools and people will know or if they're connecting on premise or in cloud. So here important, because let's say that you have a pool. Let me show you here, for example, this one. And you have these checks activated. As you can see, you can allow, of course, remove by users and reset by users. But right now, if you did this in a metapool, it didn't activate. In this new 3.6 version, if you add this option, users will be able also in those metapools to remove the machine and reset if available. Of course, remember that if the user is using a non-persistent machine, this will not work, as or it won't be necessary, as if the machine is resetted, the user will lose its machine. So just take that into account. What else? What else? I think it's almost everything. Just two little things. In the configuration part, we had added a new check. I think Yolanda has talked about this, the zero trust mode. This will give us a step more in security, and it will allow so that password will never move through connections. Okay, so will always stay in the platform, and password will never go through any connection. So a bit more security that it was always happy to have. In the report, as you can see right here, we have a new report, an important one, will be the audit log. What would this give us? This is going to give us information about who has changed something in the platform, okay? For example, someone changes a transport, here you will be able to see, okay, this given user has changed this transport or any given thing. So important to check who is changing any given element inside the UDS dashboard. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a bit about multi-factor connection. Okay, let's talk about each one of them. Which one? Email one. Let's start with the email one. And you can see we have some options here. Of course, we are going to need an email server. In our case, it's going to be a Gmail one. Okay, we can check the security, TLS if we need it, and of course, a username and a password. Here in the configuration, very easy. The subject of the email, who's going to send the email, and here a cool thing is that we can enable or not enable HTML5. So if we enable it, this part here will be activated. It will be the same, but for example, for those guys who want to put some colors of some specific type of text, you can put it here. If not, it will be plain text as this one. Important to see that you can see you have some username, some parameters that you can pass. Always necessary, remember to have the code, please, because if you don't put this code in the text, users won't be able to access, okay? So for this part, an easy one. And the TLTP, here talk about two things, same as before, but I wanted to talk about the device caching and the MFO code validity. You can see right now it's in 0. What is it going to mean? It's going to mean that every time I access the platform, it's going to ask me for the code. Of course, 0, the more secure one, but if you want to maybe, okay, for 1 or 2 hours, if you log out and access, there's no problem, you won't be asked, you can put it. And then we have the validity code. This will be how much time will that code that I'm giving you going to be valid. Let's say that you want it to be 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever, you can put it here, okay? That code will be valid for that specific time. Okay, and let's click on save. And let's try them. Let's see how they go. Let's go into user mode. Let's log out. Okay, so let's say, for example, this one, this is going to be the email one, okay? Okay, as you can see right here, it would send you to a new page, to a login verification page. Well, it's going to ask you, okay, and now you have to give me the email. So I think I have it right here. It should come up. There it is, so I can show you. I'll show you right here. As you can see, it's in Spanish, but trust me, it says you're trying to log into the UDS platform, and this is your access code. So let's copy it, put it inside here, and voila, we're inside. As you can see in the email, you had the HTML5 activated. As you can see, you can put any color you want. So very cool. And talking about one thing here, well, not one thing, not yet. Let's try the TLTP one. So let's try TLTP. I think it's going to be the same user. Okay, as you can see, the first time we log, it's going to prompt us again with the login verification part, but we are going to need this QR code. So a lot of the applications that can read this, Google Authenticators ones, Authy, you have a lot of them. I'm going to show you just an example, okay, that we have right here. This one, let's put it out. So this is an Authenticator one. It's called Authenticator in the app in the Google Store for extensions, and it's really easy. So we will just check this, tell it the code. It's going to tell us, okay, it has been added. So we will go here, click it. It's going to copy it, and we're inside. So this is, I telling, this is only one of the options. It's an example. It's an easy one. Maybe you want one more complicated or whatever, or one on your mobile phone. Of course, it's up to you. Talking about mobile phones, let's say that you lose your mobile phone. Not going to happen a lot these days, but if, for example, we lose our phone, okay, it's something that's going to happen, I'm sure. Hope not, but it will have it in any given time. We can click here on release, okay, every information, and the user will already get a new TLTP code, a new QR code, so that he can access. This is the same for everyone per SMS or anything. If something happens, you can release it and you will start working again. And the user can enter whenever if you let it.
Bye bye.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.